All right, guys. So we are here now for part three of this training series. In the first two parts, we talked about the shift in third party to first party data, right? No longer can you just buy a list and blast the list and and get effective results, right? That time is sort of past. The email apocalypse, the major changes that happened in email deliverability of January of 24, and other things are affecting first party or third party data. And so what this means is the shift to first party, to owning your own, to how do we generate our own contacts instead of relying on others to give us leads and stuff like that. That was the introduction. The second part of that lesson was riches in the niches, right? Riches in the niches, right? I guess how you say niche. So selecting a niche. The most successful agents and brokerages that I've seen this year have some form of focus. And so we did a whole session on that, on how you can potentially select your niche, right? Looking at your analysis, your expertise, your past client list. So that was something we talked about, as well as having a focus in 2025. We only got a couple of weeks left. It's a perfect time to now analyze and shore up your defenses and figure out what targets we're going to focus on next year, because we should all know at this point, trying to work with anybody that wants to buy or sell, it's not going to work very well, right? You're a generalist, and what people are looking for is specialists. They want to know that you're the best at what the thing that they're looking for, right? Oh, you work with veterans? I'm a veteran. That's a specialist, right? So generalist is going to go extinct, right? That's what every brand new real estate agent that comes in, that's why they're 90% of them are out of the business within the first few years. So I'm going to recommend, it doesn't mean you have to pigeonhole yourself into one tiny thing, but I am going to recommend that you focus your efforts, the time that you spend actually producing content. We're going to talk about making phone calls, your farm, all those things should be targeted and not spread thin across 1,000 different targets, right? You should be focused on a niche, whether that, like I was talking with our buddy Mark here today. We were talking yesterday about waterfront and beachfront property, right? That's a niche. It's a thin sliver of real estate within an entire state, but it's certainly a niche, and it's a certain type of people that are looking for that. It's a higher budget, right, than anything that's not beachfront or waterfront. So that is what is a great niche to start. It could also be something like many of the other common examples: divorce, probate, FISBOs, expireds. Those are all examples of a sort of niche where you're focusing your efforts. It doesn't mean you don't have a Zillow ad out there or a ad bringing you general buyers or sellers or something like that, but it means that the majority of your effort, like if you're calling or door knocking or farming or spending money on mailers, those are targeted. They're not just like anyone who's listening, right? It's targeted. So those are the first two sessions. And guys, in this session, we actually meant to do it last time, but we had a bunch of topics and stuff come up. Now we're talking about the funnel, right? In this video, we're going to talk about how to create an effective funnel exclusively within Dubb or using other technologies here. Because in the first two sessions, we said, okay, well, who do you want to attract, right? This year, you want to focus on what's working, and you want to pick a niche, and you want to focus your efforts there. And so what is that niche, right? What is the persona of the niche I've decided to work with? If it's beachfront or waterfront, what are the specifics of that? If it's retirees or veterans or FISBOs or expireds, right? We have to learn the demographic, the psychographic. We have to learn about this person and understand their profile, who they are, what's important to them. That's how we're going to go about crafting a funnel for this type of business, right? If you don't know who the audience is, how can you craft a message for them? And if you think, well, the audience is anybody, then you're speaking to everybody. You're trying to boil the ocean, and that's always ineffective. So instead, we're taking the first two exercises, we're picking our niche, and then that is what is going to help us build the funnel. Because the funnel starts with, guys, the top of the funnel. And this can mean paid ads. This can mean organic social posts. It could mean door knocking, right? Whatever that top of funnel asset or acquisition vehicle is, that's the thing that we're going to focus on first in this first part of the funnel. So if you've decided on a niche, where do you find those people? Right? If it's beachfront, waterfront, then you're going to choose a farm that is all waterfront or beachfront properties, right? If it's divorce or probate, you're going to partner with attorneys. You're going to find where you can find those divorce and probate opportunities. Where are those? Where are the first people to find out those, right? Law. So that's who you're going to get your source of information from. My point being is that when you have a funnel, when you're building a funnel, you have to identify your targets first in order to set up that first leg, the first top of the funnel. And I want to show you guys a few different examples of this, right? Social media is kind of like the dream. And I want to just show you a quick example. This is one of the people I actually follow as a perfect inspiration, where and we're going to take some lessons from this. So this guy is actually a financial advisor, right? It's not even a real estate thing, but I want to show you this page because this is the type of content that we're going to talk about in the next part of the funnel. This is his funnel we're observing. It starts with content. And what you're going to notice here is he didn't even actually generate 99% of this content. It's just recycled and reposted. But guess what? It's all consistent because he understands his audience. His audience is people interested in finance, people interested in investing, people interested in what's going on with our economy, right? That's who's interested in financial literacy stuff and products. So he knows that. And that's why every single post, even he didn't make it, is just recycling other people's content, but it's almost all about the same: investment, finance, money. And so I'm just showing you guys this because the methods I'm going to continue to show at the funnel, you can work really hard and create 100% of your own content. Like this one, this is actually something he made. It's a video of him, but you can see the stuff on it is not, right? It's repurposed and recycled. I'm showing you guys this to say that you don't have to be the original creator. You don't have to become a ultimate online video speaker or personality to make what we're talking about work. And I'm showing you guys this as an example. This guy makes like $30,000 a month just from his posts, not even his other part of his business. And it's not even his stuff. So what I'm about to show you guys, I just want to show you that it doesn't have to be something impossible. It doesn't have to be so intimidating. You don't have to put yourself on the pedestal to say, hi, look, my face is everywhere all the time. So I'm only showing you guys this as a real life example of extremely successful professional services that you don't have to put your neck out there and feel so embarrassed or whatever every time. It can actually be 100% recycled. But what you will also see is it's 100% consistent with the lessons I'm about to show you guys. It's consistent in its message, in who the ICP is, in who the messaging is tailored for. All that is consistent across this. So here, one moment. Okay.
Yeah, some of the keywords I think that are so important for 2026 for real estate sales are consistency, are knowing your audience, knowing where to farm, knowing where to prospect the right people, staying true to the path. These are so important. I wanted to share a quick story about a family friend of ours who is like a top 1% nationwide agent. She gets on stage with Gary Keller at the family reunion conferences for Keller Williams. And she has a very interesting strategy that she has gotten amazing results from. And the thing about her is that she's been very consistent with this. And it's simply her market updates. She's become known for her market updates. In fact, she has a video email newsletter that she sends out every single week to her audience, and people forward that email because it's so relevant. So the referral marketing is built all in. And it's amazing. There's some screen videos, there's some face videos. She ends up publishing these videos to YouTube to build her YouTube channel up. There's an editor that micro clips them for social media. It's an entire process, it's an entire funnel. It's a waterfall method, as we call it, where the source of the data is the market update, the information, the value, spending 3 to 5 minutes with her to get information that's relevant for that specific market. If you go or your prospect goes to ChatGPT right now and says, give me a market update on Anytown, USA, it is not going to do a very good job. It does not have access to MLS listings. It does not know what the current interest rates are. It does not know what the last 3 sales were in that area. It does not know the number of probate, foreclosure. It does not know. Um, you know this information because you're out there. You have access to industry professional reports. You have access to the street knowledge through your network. This information is extremely valuable, and I cannot tell you how important it is to provide market updates to your clients. This is for prospecting, it's for nurturing, and it's for closing. The referrals, the testimonials, everything is built in. You can do all of this with Dubb. You can use the AI writer. You can use the mobile app or the desktop to record a video. You can upload it directly to YouTube. You can send a video email newsletter to your specific list, and you can do that on rinse and repeat. Folks, it's about consistency. It's about connecting with your audience and providing value, value, value.
Exactly, guys. And I will say, just as a quick thing, the value component, I was also in with another of our brokerage leaders, and she has Follow Up Boss for, or not, I won't even say, and it's not Follow Up Boss. It was a different CRM, but the nurturing sequences there, guys, they're not providing value. So if this as a takeaway, we're gonna tackle this in a future training. But if you look at your automations, your sequences, and if they're like, hey, just following up, hey, just touching bases, how's it going? Have any questions? Those are the opposite of valuable touch points, right? That's pestering, it's annoying, and it's going to cause people to unsubscribe and get away from you as quickly as possible. Where we just talked about what Ruben's family members email, it's not that. It's genuine value. It's actually providing value that people can't wait to get their hands on and to share with others because it's insightful. Versus, hey, just ready, you ready to go? How you doing? Any questions? And I will tell you right now, a lot of these off the shelf workflows look exactly like half the touch points are just lame poking somebody. And they're like, why are you poking? Go away. Leave me alone. And that's literally what people are going to unsubscribe from your email. So we don't want that. Anyway, okay. back to the examples here. So now we have two really good examples to help feed real life into the strategy we're talking about, guys, which is we're focusing on the top of funnel and how to create content there. Two things. We need to choose a channel. Ruben just mentioned YouTube. For real estate, I recommend YouTube. It has the greatest reach. It has the greatest longevity, right? If you guys are, if you're only posting on Facebook or only posting on TikTok or Instagram or something, those are what we call ephemeral, meaning they're going to be seen today and not tomorrow. Very, very short lifespans of videos on short form platforms like TikTok, unless it went extremely viral and then it gets passed around. Whereas something with YouTube, we can tailor it to specific keywords. And whenever somebody types in those keywords, then our stuff is going to be discovered. And guys, I have another training on this coming down the road, which is specific for keyword strategy and content production. This one's higher level, guys, which is just the introduction to what your funnel needs to be and how you would go about crafting it. And right now we're talking about the top of the funnel, which is you are creating content. This is videos. It's the posts that I was just showing you, where they're not even your own posts. It's other people's stuff you're recycling. But this is the top of the funnel, and it starts with content. It doesn't have to be a Facebook post. It can be a YouTube video. It can be an email. It can be any of these things. It can be all of these things. And in fact, eventually I will recommend being omnipresent, omni-channel, right? You want the post on all the channels. And Ruben mentioned his family member has workflow to do that, right? To distribute the one piece of content, which is the ultimate strategy, right? That the waterfall, the cascade, whatever you call it. You do the research, you create one awesome piece of content, and then that then powers up everything else. It powers up the email newsletter. It powers up every social post, powers up website content, all that from the one piece of content that we're talking about right now. So is this content recycled, repurposed from somebody else, or is it something you are creating yourself, right? We have a lot of trainings, guys. In fact, let me just show you where you'll find these. Part of the real estate group is you guys have access to the real estate coachings, which are going to be including our old trainings, because we did a couple of these before. So like right here, I want to make sure everyone has access to this, right? How to do FSBOs, how to do expireds, direct email campaign or direct mail campaign strategies. There's a lot of different strategies for real estate, very specifically on this showcase, including the how to do the market update. That's what Ruben was just talking about. That's what top 1% of all Keller Williams agents, that's their main acquisition strategy, is their market updates, right? Which is one of these guys right here, how to do a CMA or how to do a regular market update, housing market news. So there's several versions of that. But my point is that instructions for those are all here. So whether you're doing market updates, FSBO videos, CMAs, you're doing the other things we discussed, right? Property tours, whatever it is, or it's recycled posts. This is what the top of your funnel looks like. But it starts with picking your target, because if you're just randomly throwing stuff out there, who knows what it's going to stick to? The social media platforms want to feed the content to people that are interested in that content, right? If I'm interested in finance, they show me finance stuff. If I'm interested in purchasing real estate in a specific area, more likely that I'm going to find videos about purchasing real estate in that certain area. So point being, the top of the funnel, guys, we want to make sure that's where a lot of our focus goes. We've picked a niche, and then the posts, the videos, whatever we're doing to power up that top of funnel is hyper specific to that. And guys, with AI now, there's never a question of like, well, what's specific for? You can literally go into a chat, AI, any tool, Arch, Art AI tool, Chat GPT, Grok, like whatever you want, and ask simple questions like that, right? What are 10 topics, 20 topics I should make videos on if I'm trying to attract uh boomer aged individuals interested in waterfront property in Florida or in a city in Florida? Literally give it something that specific, and it's going to give you the topics to create about, or what ideas to brainstorm. And then from there, you're going to extrapolate that, right? It gives you 10, you pick one of the 10 and say, I want to talk about this. Write me a script for that. And so you don't even need to come up with what to say anymore. I will recommend that you have your research done, right? The last thing you guys want to do if you're doing a video is, hi, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm reading from this teleprompter in hopes that it builds trust with you. Don't do that. And also the AI, a complete avatar doing that. It's the equivalent. Hi, I'm an avatar video and I'm doing weird things and I'm not a real person and I'm trying to build trust with you. There's a time and a place for these things, guys. And if it's a video where you're trying to do a market update, that shouldn't be read like a robot and it shouldn't be delivered by a robot, right? It should be like a human. Like, hey, it's Bill, and I wanted to show you some awesome news here about what's happening in your local market. So if you are in Sacramento or the 916 area code, you're going to absolutely want to pay attention for the next 2 minutes while we break down the market update for you. Let's go. Something like that is human and that people connect to and they respond to. And now I'm teased and I want to, well, dang, I live in that area. I want to know. And so this is what, that's a video, right? That's specific with hook and all that stuff. We have the training for this as well, right? All of our script writing tools will include those elements. For example, you're here inside of Dubb, right here on the dashboard. This is our AI tool. You can set up a profile where it knows exactly who you are, who you're trying to sell to, buyers, sellers, boomers, beachfront. You set all this stuff up and you say, write me a script. And you don't have to tell it all that stuff over again. So you can get really effective scripts from here. The other thing this does, guys, is it has that proprietary have method. So if you don't know about adding hooks and value propositions and stuff like that, and you don't know how to write copy for social posts or for advertisements, that's what this is for. You don't have to be a copywriter. Don't worry. Just come tell us what you want. And the AI tool will help you get the finished, polished product in the end. I would say, again, if it's a video, practice with the teleprompter. Don't be lazy, right? I see too many people, and this is the problem too, is a lot of people are lazy and they'll use the AI and people are calling it AI slop, and then the algorithm's not going to show it to anybody. So don't think you found an easy way out, right? That, oh, I can just do the AI video of me doing 100%. No one's going to build trust with that. The algorithms aren't feeding it to people anymore. And it's more likely to have the opposite effect, right? Where like, oh, you were so lazy or you couldn't speak in complete sentences to do this thing yourself. So what the easy button, right? It's always going away. As soon as it's built, it goes away. So I would say that if you're going to do a video, the teleprompter makes it easier, but you want to practice. And I'm only saying this because I want you guys to represent yourselves out there the best that you possibly can. And I would hate for you to be out there doing like, hi, I'm reading from a teleprompter and it looks obvious, and don't do that, right? Make it look like the news people. If they're reading from a teleprompter, you can't tell. And that's how it should be for you. So practice, right? Make an effort. And I also, again, if you're intimidated by doing your face every single time, I just showed you don't need to do that. There's 1,000 things to talk about in a local market, in real estate, with rates and all these things that are happening. It's changing so rapidly right now. There's something to talk about every day. So there's never a shortage. What there is, though, is a mismatch of information. If I'm focused on sellers and I'm talking about buyer stuff, if I'm focused on buyers, but I'm talking about seller stuff, focused on beachfront and I'm talking about Utah, right? So just be aware, it's not as much of a you can waste your time creating content that's not for the people you want to speak to, right? If you're in a specific state and you're talking about the country, maybe not as valuable, unless you're like in Florida and you're trying to attract that national audience, that snowbirds and stuff that are coming here. So again, I just want you guys to put extra effort into, if you're making videos yourself, don't do a half-assed job. It's going to defeat the purpose, right? You'll have wasted your effort and won't have the result that you want. So I'd say practice, right? Make that, if you're using a teleprompter, make it good, right? Make it believable. Don't like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable and awkward. I only say this because I've seen it happen. So don't do that. Don't be guilty of that. Okay. I see some questions coming in. I'm gonna answer them. Don't worry, guys. Just give me a second. So this whole time we've been focused on how to power up the top of your funnel, which is post to social, email newsletters, direct mail campaigns, door knocking or phone calling, one of those things. And what we've focused on today is making sure that your guys' understanding you've niched or you've selected some specification, right? You can't boil the ocean. And then because you've selected that niche, you understand that they need specific language and specific information for that niche, for that group of people. And so then you are going to become an expert on that information. You're going to subscribe to the newsletters, you're going to follow the channels, you're going to put the bookmarks on the things that lead you to be an expert in that niche. There's only one way to become an expert, and it's through good old fashioned research and paying attention, right? And you guys need to do that. If you want to be relevant in the future here as an agent, that's the way to do it, right? Be an expert. Because otherwise people think they can get, I can buy a house with ChatGPT. Good luck, right? Because what are you bringing to the table is something that it can't, unless it can, right? If all you're doing is delivering basic information like a chat, then that's what your value is. And so this is your opportunity to differentiate and add longevity to your career. Invest in yourself, choose your niche, research those guys, and get really good at crafting messaging, videos, content, recycling blogs like this guy for the people that are in the niche you've selected. That way, you have the best chance of matching what you're doing, the work that you're doing, to the people you're trying to attract. And this, guys, is all in the top of the funnel, right? That's what this whole training piece is about. And I've seen people's tops of their funnels, and they're very poor, right? It's either a generic advertisement on Google or Facebook they didn't create, has nothing to do with their niche or any, it's just like, look at this home. And because they didn't take ownership of it, it's not first party data, it's third party data. They're using someone else to run an ad that sells them leads for who know how much. They generated the lead for $5 and they're selling it to you for 30, right? That's what most people, or we're posting random stuff that's not targeted online, or we're not posting at all. My point being is the average agent's out of business very quickly. And I don't want that for anyone that's watching this training. If you have access to this, we know what's working. We're interviewing other agents. I'm working with a lot of brokerages and teams, and they have a lot of turnover and a lot of successes within those teams. And I'm constantly analyzing what's working, what's not, where are people getting hiccups. A lot of it is like this thing, right? Doing this, putting your face out there. And if that's intimidating. And that's why I wanted to show the two examples there. Where it doesn't have to be your face. You don't have to be the hey, talking head all the time. This is a lot of what you can do. And like what Ruben mentioned his family members doing, they're the star of the show is the information, right? They're clicking this button and they're just a little bubble as a part of the screen as we're talking about the market update, right? So a lot of ways to avoid that sort of discomfort or whatever roadblocks you might have. But at the end of the day, door knocking's uncomfortable, cold calling's uncomfortable, and people have made massively successful careers doing that. And those things are going away, right? Phone calling strangers is going away. Spam likely, you don't know the contact, just outright rejection from unknown numbers. That's the future of cold calling, right? Door knocking, a bunch of do not solicit, gated communities, like a whole bunch of things preventing us from doing that, right? So these types of sources are going away. Whereas look at social media, it's blowing up like TikTok. And then now Sora is a new TikTok. So this is what's happening in our world. And we need to adapt or die, right? Not to sound pessimistic or sky is falling. It's not. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to be more effective, to reach 1 million people instead of the 10 doors you could knock, right? But it's a skill that we have to begin investing in right now because the changes are happening so rapidly. And if we're not on top of it, if you're not keeping your eye on the ball every day, we're going to get left behind extremely quickly. So that's it for this one, guys. I have the rest of the funnel. The next piece is going to be now that we have some content ideas, maybe you have a little content calendar list you're building. What is then the ultimate strategy for capturing that traffic, capturing the leads, capturing the first party data from the content you're producing, whether that's ads, posts, newsletters? We need an ability to complete the funnel. So in this training was just focused on the top, the very first piece of the funnel. And if you guys look at your own business right now, what does it look like for you? Are you relying on third party data? Are you generating your own first party data? Did you miss that training? You're not sure what those mean. Are you relying on third party advertisers? Where are your leads coming from? Do you have control of that source? And are you actively preparing yourself for next year, for the next big change, right? Look what happened with email. You can't bulk email lists anymore, right? You can't buy a list and blast it. You literally can't do that anymore to any effective degree. what changes are coming down the road. You owning your data and your ability to get data for yourself is going to protect you for the time coming forward. So I encourage you guys to follow along in these lessons. If you're not part, if you're catching this recording somewhere else, come join, right? You can get part of these trainings. We'd love to have you here. Bring your open mics and stay tuned. Thanks, everybody.